Time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement. Here's your host, President of Compassion for Kids and motivational speaker, Tony Giorgio.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to Living with Victory. Now, as we say around here, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. God, and we've had some. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's called perseverance. But remember, if you feed your faith, your doubts will definitely starve to death. The word of the day, and I thought with everything that's been going on, we might do a little bit concerning fear and what the Bible has to say about fear. And I'm going to read Psalms 91, 4 and 5. God will cover me with his wings. I will be safe in his care. His faithfulness will protect and defend me. I need not fear any dangers at night or sudden attacks during the day. And that really is something to remember. God will cover you with his wings. Fear and faith need to let you know that your faith is your protection. Nothing else. Man isn't. There's nothing material that is going to protect you. Money's not, especially nowadays. There's no such thing. But your faith will. Your faith will. And the Bible is filled with passages that assure you that if you have faith, hey, you're going to be all right. Hang in there, because his wings are covering you. And if we believe, that's how we have to live. I know we've had some devastation this past week, between the tsunami, the earthquakes. There's so much going on, and everybody's running around with the, all upset and apprehensive. It was terrible, yeah. But you need to have faith enough to know that you're not going to be harmed. And I know that there was a lot of tragedy. There was a lot of loss of life. There was so much. But if you look at it, we're not here for eternity, number one. We're passing through. All this is temporary. And what's to come is the reward. What's coming after this life. So, yeah, we miss people who move on and away from us, and we've had several people pass away in the area this week who have gone home to be with the Lord, and we'll miss them. Yeah, but they've gone on to their reward. And if you have that faith and you have that love, that's the reward. Yeah, you have to remember that that's not a punishment; it's a reward. So have faith that no matter what, God is not punishing you. He's not punishing anybody right now. It's not. Just look at it the way it has to be looked at. Keep your faith where it belongs, right up front, as the shield, as the wings around you. God's wings. Jesus is just putting his arms around you as you walk. If you have faith, you have nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about. Fear, faith. I've had quite a bit along the way in my lifetime when it came to fear situations, very close to the things that had been happening in the weather. One incident I remember when I first moved down into Fort Lauderdale area many moons ago, and I was driving a linen truck, sort of like a bread truck with no air conditioning doors that slide back and forth, and I'm along I guess it was Federal Highway near the beach. Now, being from New York, not too used to the tropical weather and the different things that occur in Florida, at a moment's notice sometimes. And I'm driving along, and I feel rain coming at me all of a sudden out of nowhere. I mean, blinding rain. I see this cloud way off in the distance, and this thing looks like it's going to touch the ground. And I'm saying, gee whiz, that's weird. I've never seen anything like it. The force of the wind that picked up and the rain was knocking this truck around the road. I mean, I couldn't control it. I didn't know what was going on, and the blinding water, the wind, made it impossible to drive. And I'm saying, oh Lord, what is happening here? This is really strange. Well, the traffic, Federal Highway is a pretty busy strip of road. The traffic just about came to a standstill right where it was. People tried to pull over when they could. Some cars, well, had some fender benders, and we pulled over, and this thing was coming at me. I don't know what was going on. The doors flew open, rain was coming in. What a mess. You talk about fear. I'm going to die. Something's going to happen. And I just started to pray. I saying, oh, man, I just got here, man. Don't take me away now. I'm just starting out here in Fort Lauderdale, right? Well, come to find out that this was a tornado. I don't know how far away it was. It was far enough away, but it's traveling parallel to that road. And we felt the effects of it. The outer bands of that thing were really coming at us. But it took a lot for me to say, okay, I'm going to be okay. I got to stop here, and I've got to say a little prayer. And I know that I'm protected here. I'm sure of that, even though I was really scared. But I felt a lot better because I did have the faith to know that there's a living God that I can say, Father, help me. And knowing that the Almighty, that's why it's called the Almighty. There's nothing. He calms the sea. Remember that story in the Bible, right? He got up, said, hey, the waves, the sea, calm down. I should calm down. I'm going to knock everything over here. And that happened. So look at what I've got on my side. And then it did. It just calmed. It just calmed down. It didn't do that much damage. It went away. It just went, and that was it. And that's what God does, what Jesus does. He just, and it's over. And everything, that pressure comes down. And you have to realize that today, what's going on, God will protect. And God knows what is going on. God's there. I know you don't see him. You don't see the wind, and I knew it was there. He's there, whether you see him or not. The whole crux of the situation is having the faith. The faith to know he's there. You have to know he's there. You have the proof, page after page after page in the Bible. You read, you go to church, you listen. If you're absorbing all of that, then you have nothing to fear. That fear itself maybe, but you shouldn't. You have to have that faith. And there were many, many times that in my life that things like this occurred. Think of this. Here I am. I'm 17 years old. I joined the Marine Corps. I was on Parris Island, early 59, 60, something like that. We're in boot camp. We're in training. We're almost graduates. And the Cuban crisis breaks out, all right? They decide that we're going over there. We're going to Cuba. We're on the shore. What am I? A couple of 100 miles away, and they're loading us up on ships to leave for Cuba. And now I've got an ammunition belt on me with real stuff. I've got a bayonet now that is sharpened. I'm ready to go off and do battle. I'm 17. We're, most of us, 17, 18. You talk about fear. I mean, there were big guys trembling. They know I have to go off now and fight somebody and possibly kill or be killed. And what am I doing? I'm a kid. I've been taught all this. Yeah, it was great in practice, and and here it's reality time. That fear. Well, I'll tell you what. If you looked out, all you saw were Marines getting on their knees and praying. And they were praying. And some were weeping, they were praying. That fear came over us. But we prayed. That's what we did. We prayed. We didn't let that fear get to us. We prayed. And you know what? As we stood there, they called it off. They called us back. We never went off. God has his hand on what is going on. He does. He really does. If you don't believe that, you got it. Just don't bother. I mean, what's the purpose of going to church and saying all the right things? You have to have the faith that encompasses your whole being. That's what you need to have for everyday life and all the occurrences, no matter what. You have to know that God is there. There are other incidences in my life that I could tell you that I knew, hey, I'm there. I know his wings are around me. I was coming home. I ran the organization during the day, and I used to work a graveyard shift at Walt Disney World. And coming home, I was pretty tired. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm riding down a very busy strip going home, and there's cars on the other side trying to make a left. There's a truck. He's going to make a left turn, but of course I've got the right of way, so he's waiting for me to go. The guy behind him decides he's not going to wait for anything, so he takes off. He comes around the truck and tries to make his left, doesn't realize I'm there, I'm coming straight on. He loses control of the car, and he slams me real hard. I mean, he took that car apart just about, and me with it. I couldn't get out of the car. I was jammed in there, and I'm hurt, man. I'm not in too good a shape now. And at that moment, I looked over, and at the light across the way, what's sitting there? An ambulance. Oh, yeah, an ambulance is sitting there. Guy gets out, and he's already called it in, and they got me out of that car, rushed me to the hospital. I'm fine. My faith said, hey, I'm protecting you. The Lord is here. You gotta remember that. You just have to remember. Don't have that fear. Have the faith. And you can do just about anything that you need to do with knowing that God is with you every minute of the day. So if you're fearing everything that's going on, don't do that. Have the faith in who you say you believe in. He will protect you. I'm telling you, he will protect you, and your fears will just melt away. Feed your faith, folks, and your doubts will starve to death. Okay, folks, we're out of time. Remember, keep dancing in that rain, folks, praising the one true motivator of the entire universe, and God bless you. This is Tony Giorgio. Have a great day and a prosperous week. Remember, your faith is in control.
Lean on me. You've been listening to Living with Victory with Tony Giorgio. Write the program at Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751.